my beautiful budding bakers on this glorious, wet, miserable Sunday morning. But it's not miserable, because today we're going to do something with some positivity. Cakes, this one's for you. We're doing some Whoopie Pies. We're doing some Whoopie Pies today. Have a look at these beautiful, big, bad, red velvet Whoopie Pies. So you can do these for Valentine, for your sweethearts. And before I do anything, before I even crack an egg, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to Callum, who's going to be 8 on Monday. Happy birthday to you. Callum, I believe you are a budding baker. Lisa O'Brien is the super mom and encouraging this creativity. You are the next Gordon Ramsay, Callum. Callum's going to be 8 on Monday, so I'm wishing you a very, 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 very happy birthday. So these Whoopie Pies are dedicated to you. I have got my trusty, delicious Kenwood ready for action. And surprise, surprise, Cal, you legend. I have got an extension lead that works. First message from my wonderful Cathal this morning. Glasses tush, check. Oven on, check. Extension lead working? Of course it is, because Cathal gifted me a fantastic extension lead. Cathal, thank you very much. Extension lead is working. So we're doing these Whoopie Pies this morning. So we have got some butter, 115 grams of butter. Now I have softened it a little bit in that it's at room temp. I now have 200 grams of dark brown sugar. In that goes, and on the mixer. So I am mixing my butter and my brown sugar for these delicious Whoopie Pies. While we're waiting for that to mix, in another bowl I have blended 250 grams of plain flour, 15 grams of cocoa powder and 1 teaspoon of baking soda, or bicarbonate of soda, or bread soda, whatever you want to call it. So 1 teaspoon of bread soda, 15 grams of cocoa powder, and 250 grams of plain flour. I have got 1 beautiful free-range egg, and I have got 160 mils of buttermilk, again at room temp. In this buttermilk, I have added 1 teaspoon of vanilla paste. You can add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I want a stronger flavour for these beautiful Whoopie Pies. Now the red food colouring I'm using, you do not need to use red. They can be just chocolate Whoopie Pies. I just happen to do the red because I'm thinking it's approaching Valentine next month. And I want to add a little bit of colour. Who doesn't want a little splash of colour in their lives? So I'm just scraping down our butter mixture and sugar. I am using a brown sugar because these will not dry out. They're for all the world like the top of a cupcake. They're the strangest thing to look at, and it's weird when they go on the baking tray and you think, what am I doing? But they rise up and puff out and they're divine. So I'm putting in at this stage a squeeze of my Progel. Now a squeeze, I would say, hazard a guess, about half a teaspoon. So I have strangled my Progel because I'm nearly out of it. Now Progel is fab. You'll get it in Super Value. You'll get it in MPO Sullivan in Cork. You will get it in Gingerbread House in Middleton. You will get it in Cakes BakeWorld. You will get it in BakeWorld. Stuff for Cakes, Sugar Sisters. All you need to put is in Irish Supplier. Irish Suppliers for your Progel, and up will come a list of all these amazing Irish stockists. So I'm just going to get that on. Now, I'm adding the red dye at this stage because what I don't want is to overbeat my mixture. So in goes my free-range egg. It doesn't look very appetizing, but stay with me, stay with me. Turn it up. Give it about a I'm going to smack that sugar and that butter with the egg until it looks like brains in a bowl. Yummy! Now again, I'm turning it down. I am lifting up, scraping down my brain mixture. Sorry if I've put off anyone with their lovely breakfast this morning. So just making sure that I am completely mixing. Now don't freak out when you see this red food dye, because this is going to make about 24 little cupcake tops, and sandwiched together you'll have your 12 whoopie pies. In goes my vanilla paste, which is 1 full teaspoon of my vanilla paste, in with my buttermilk. The buttermilk is 160 mils of buttermilk. Don't panic if this curdles, because it can when you're adding your buttermilk. Make sure it's at room temp. In goes all my buttermilk. And I'm going to shake, 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 shake. In goes my flour mix of cocoa powder and my plain flour and my baking soda. Wow, clean as you go, clean as you go. And there we have this batter, not dissimilar to a cupcake batter. So I'm going to scrape off the batter. Lick this beater at your peril, because you will end up with a red tongue, red teeth, to be gorgeous. You'll have red everywhere. Rebel Red, we're in the Rebel County. So all I'm going to do is just give that. So as you can see, it's like this soft but still stiff batter. Now to make this gluten-free, you will substitute the flour with gluten-free Dove Farm plain flour. Now make sure if it has xanthan gum in it, you do not need to add it. If it doesn't, you will need to add half a teaspoon of your xanthan gum. If you want to make yours dairy-free, use this fabulous Flora. This will make it dairy-free. It is absolutely yummy. You can also add it with your buttercream, and honestly, you wouldn't know the difference. Now, we have got 3 different scoops. So we've got the large, we've got the medium, and we've got the little baby one. Now, if you want a whoopie pie that's on steroids, you will use an ice cream scoop. These expand so much on your baking tray, you do not want to go for this size. The next size, a bit like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. The next size is the middle one. The middle one makes these size whoopie bars or whoopie pies even. They're quite large. I'm putting them in scale so that you see them against my hand. They're quite large. So these would be at Trish's portion. So at Trish's portion, medium. Kid portion would be the miniature, okay? So the miniature, so size-wise, I look like a makeup artist. And there's my brush, and there's my brush. Apply liberally. So you've got that size, which would be 1 tablespoon of your batter red velvet mix. So I have got my trusty tray lined with parchment paper. Now parchment paper is slightly silky to the feel. It's not baking paper. Baking paper will stick. So you're looking for parchment. Parchment paper. So clean as you go, clean as you go. Just get rid of all our bits and bobs. Da-da-da. So we have our Scoopy Dooper. As I said, if you don't have this scooper, you can see when it comes out, they're like miniature golf balls. Here I'm going up an octave. I sound like a chipmunk this morning. Cathal, it's the 3 cups of coffee I've had already this morning. So when you are spacing, make sure you're spacing about 3 to 4 finger width, because these expand. A bit like my waistline. Because of all these scrumdiddlyumptious bakes. But these are fantastic for all the ones you love. Fabulous for Valentine, amazing for nurses, fantastic for medics, because we are just showing them how amazing they are. So scoopity-doop, scoopity-doop. Squeakity-bitty-bitty, scum-dum-de-dum. And it is compulsory to make noise in the kitchen and sing while you bake to keep the positive vibes going and annoy the hell out of your family. So, boink, boink, boink. Now, you can see there's quite a lot more, but I'll be here until next Tuesday if I continue with the batter. So, I have got my trusty Whoopie Pies. They're going into the oven. And I will set my timer for 10 minutes to 12 minutes. But 10 minutes should do it. And what happens is they slowly, they puff up, and they're like a cupcake top. If you were to slice the cupcake top, sandwich it with some buttercream, kaboom, Whoopie! Pies are divine. So, where I have prepared some of my Whoopie Pies earlier, and to speed things up, I have made our traditional buttercream. So anytime you're making your traditional buttercream, it's 2 to 1. So for example, 250 grams of icing sugar to 125 grams of butter. And this time I have used about a tablespoon of hot water from the kettle. Particularly if you're using dairy-free again, you've got your plant butter and your icing sugar, and you can either add a tablespoon of oat milk or almond milk, soy milk, any non-dairy, but water is actually beautiful in buttercream. So I'm going to take a good old dollop into my packing bag, and I have numerous recipes with my buttercream. All it is beating your icing sugar and your butter, beat the living daylights out of it, add your water or your milk, and I have got a rose nozzle. And I'm going to turn up our base, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pipe a squidge of buttercream, and on goes the top. So squeeze of your buttercream, and as you can see, my buttercream is lovely and soft. Turn upside down, squeeze of buttercream, and then I've got my boom! We have got our Whoopie Pies. So our Whoopie Pies have that red velvet, and just so you see the center, Domini Spiritus Sanctus, we shall cut our delicious. And you have got this really soft, divine Whoopie Pie. And as I mentioned, you do not need to add your red food colouring. So if you don't add your red food colouring, you have just got chocolate Whoopie Pies. So lads, today we have done our Whoopie Pies, because for the month of January, do you know what now? I just keep on going for Valentine. Valentine is around the corner. But when kids in particular are learning to do something new, it's lovely to give them that couple of days, couple of weeks leading up to a big event that they can go kapow and show off their skills. So today we have done Whoopie Pies. Next week we will do something scrumdiddlyumptious and delicious and unique and fun for kids. Stay tuned, because I have some exciting news. Exciting news! I'm going to have world domination within the next week or so. It's a secret. I'll explain everything in the next Facebook Live, or sooner. You just have to keep tuned. Stay tuned to A Touch of Magic 100 on YouTube, and more exciting news to come. See you next Sunday.